Hey there, Christina. This is your first guitar lesson video. I'm going to start by having sent the video called How to Hold the Guitar, which has us, with the guitar positioned on your right leg, where, what people do naturally is put it right in the middle, it falls this way. So what we want to do is move it farther to the right where it's teetering, and it might fall off that way. And then we're steadying it by leaning it back on our body. It's about an inch away from my body, so it's tempting to do this so you can see, but we're not. If you need to see better, you can just look over like that. Not to say that's awesome, but that's how we're approaching it. And then we're swinging our right arm around the instrument such that it ends up in the crook of my arm here, like this. And, in a position that enables me to do this. And then my humerus is just resting on the instrument. And that's mainly what steadies it. There shouldn't really be any element of feeling like you need to hold it up over there, and there are a lot of unfortunate side effects of doing that. So I'm steadying it by leaning it on my body, but mainly in a very ergonomic way by just hanging out with it like that. Cool. So there's a reiteration of how to hold the guitar video, or you can just get it entirely at this point, more or less. Great, so here's me holding a pick. It is a pick that is between my thumb and forefinger. And, did I give you? Oh, your boyfriend plays, right? Cool, awesome. So yeah, I've got about this much of it sticking out, as opposed to the whole pick, or just like a little nub like that. And we're going to use the pointy part, pointing at our finger. So here's the angle my thumb's at. And I'm using my fingertip as opposed to putting it up on my knuckle here. So this, for thumb and forefinger. And if you find your second finger coming in to support it, that's cool. Just don't switch to your second finger. I didn't see you do that. Some people will do it. I'm just playing troubleshooting. Thanks. And then, you asked me what I do with the rest of my hand. Just make a relaxed fist, or just have it like this, but don't reach for here to steady it or anything. There are situations where we rest our hand there, but when we're strumming, we're using a big range of motion, like we talked about. Awesome. So, hey, cut your nails, huh? There's no other version. Just check it out. You're just assessing whether you're going to play guitar. But I'm going to really encourage you to have a short fingernails period here, because it takes maybe a good 5-10 hours of practice before it gets cool, because you're literally doing strength training. Cool, but it seems like you're ahead of the curve there. So we got this first chord, E minor. If you look at the page, we're on the 6th string. We're going, what is my left hand going to do? And so on the nothing here on the 6th string. And then, which is E, and you are going to memorize the names of the open strings. That's our only dry memorization. E, A, D, G, B, E. Those are both E's. And let me know if you're having trouble tuning using a tuner, and we can talk about that next time. But use a tuner, and we'll be good to go. Tuners are everywhere. There's free iPhone apps. Yeah, like I was saying, E minor, open 6th string. 2nd fret of the 5th string, which is the note B. Since you're just poking at the big picture here, A, B, and this would be C in theory, but cool. So just, hey, look, these are the same 12 tones. And then my ring finger's right underneath it there. So that's another E, D, E. And so we're playing E's, B's, and G's. I'm only doing this because you play piano, but we're really just thinking the shape looks like that. Bending out my first knuckle, so I'm just touching these 2 strings, not on too many strings. A symptom of my thumbs up too high, my hands up too high, is I'm touching too many strings, and that's a common thing people do. So I'm going to remind you that the way we want to hold the instrument is making this here comes jaws, and just like how we were doing the lesson, just hanging your entire weight on your thumb like that, where it's flush against the fretboard, and then you get to squeeze with your whole hand, but not bringing your arm up like that, which is what most people do without guidance. Cool, so just pause your video, take a very long time, however long it takes to fret that chord, and then hit play. Cool, So here we are playing E minor. It hurts. We don't care. And I'm sympathetic though. Just making light. So strumming. We're going to be using this wide range of motion like we talked about in order to hit all the strings with the same amount of velocity, terminology, attack, how hard we hit the strings. I'm using not much attack. I'm using heavy attack. There we go. So yeah, this broad range of motion where we're playing the guitar like a drum, so to speak, as opposed to like a harp. Just swinging away. The things that are going to happen are you miss, no problem, or you're in too far and hit all the strings really hard, you're too close to the instrument, or looking to just barely graze all the strings with your pick. So why don't you just pause your video and take some time where you just do single down strums, down, all 6 strings, playing E minor, or if your hand got tired, you could theoretically stop. Your hand will get tired. If your hand got too tired, you could hit just the open strings, but that's going to sound bad and kind of be discouraging. So E minor, and just try and go a single down strum, reset, try it again. We're going to be doing something that sounds musical momentarily, but just do some boring, I'm showing myself how to strum down. Pause. Play. Great, so then down, the alternate is up. But before we do that, now you're going to work on actually playing just 1, 2, 3, 4 at any tempo down strums. And this is really easy conceptually, but execution-wise, I'd like you to pause after you get through it once successfully, reset, do it again. And when that starts feeling more comfortable and less mechanical, begin to loop it over and over again, or play it twice or more. We want to memorize it, then execute it like that. So please just work on that. And now we've got alternate strumming, down and up. That's our second rhythm on the back of the page. 1 and 2, and it turns out we strum down on the downbeat and up on the upbeat, almost unilaterally. So I'm going, or more like. So we see I'm all the way up here, and I'm all the way down here. My wrist is loose, but it's all happening at my elbow. Reminder at this point, be sure that your fretboard's up here, not down here. Be sure that you're holding the guitar correctly and that you're not holding a ton of tension in your body anywhere aside from the pushing down portion. Cool, thanks for that. And yeah, so go ahead and pause your video and just work on some down strums, same approach, doing single incidences of focused until in our memorization headspace until that starts to get easier, and then, and only then, do it more than once and try to play the actual rhythm of it. Cool. Great, so there's that. Pause, work on that. Great. So if we want to say what the hardest thing in this song is, aside from Match My Hand, it's moving between chords, the chords that we learned. So A minor, and this is the A string, so it makes sense it's the lowest note in the chord, though E is a note in A chord. Cool, so this is us playing E minor, and I'm just barely moving to get to there. There's no hand or wrist juxtaposition change whatsoever. I'm just moving a little teeny bit, so go for a very small range of motion there. And if you need to do it one at a time at first, that's cool. But just work on that and don't do it over and over. Be sure you're consciously focused on what you're doing. And like that. Cool. And then also our first finger comes in and plays that. We feel like it's your A minor on the page. On the second string, we're playing the first fret. So it's the same shape. Down with our first finger involved. Cool. And we talked about using our thumb to mute the bass string. This is really close to the position you will have already been in, and it's like I'm touching the string. I'm not depressing it. I'm just barely making contact with it with any part of my thumb, and then we get click. So click, no. There it is. And sometimes we play in classical thumb position, but right now we're in clutch or thumb over top, which is how we tend to play these open chords or first position chords which are chords like the ones we are playing right now that contain both fretted notes and open notes, as opposed to bar chords, which are way harder and we're avoiding for some time now. Cool. So same process, A minor, if you want to work on strumming it some, that's cool. But really just work on doing the change. Quantify for yourself what you're doing. If you like end up a string too low, try to say, okay, I ended up on the wrong string, versus doing it back and forth over and over. And if you find yourself going this then that, then try to just make it, when that gets comfortable, just do the whole thing at once. Or if you need to trick yourself, you can go that then this if you've been doing. But ideally, you just move your whole hand at once, which means that your first finger is going to be hanging out already ready to do its thing, as opposed to what you might do subconsciously, which is get it out of the way so it's not cluttering up your vision. But yeah, it's hanging out here as though it might play the first fret anytime. Cool. So E minor and A minor. And then, so, we've got like, cool. Introducing a concept we didn't talk about during the lesson. On the very last strum of E minor, before I switch to A minor, I'm actually hitting just the open strings, which we call the open strum. And that's how we get to the next chord quickly enough. You have 2 split seconds. Here's what I mean. I'm going to go down, up, switch. And if you pause there, or if you're playing really slowly, it can sound bad. If you go like, it sounds really bad. But if I'm like, it's just how we actually play the instrument. So yeah, but if you're doing just your down strums, that shouldn't be an issue. And why don't we start with that? And we're going to just try to get to the first strum of A minor. So you've just worked on this to where you feel some kind of competency with it. That's the right word. It's a noun anyway. So now we're going to go just downs, switch. And rather than continuing to play, which would be way more fun, just get to there, reset, do it again. We're going directly at that difficult. Now I have to switch between chords. Finishing the rest of the measure, strumming 3 more times is going to be a nominal amount of focus required, but actually getting that change successfully, difficult. So we went just down strums. We went 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then one of the other rhythms was half one, half the other, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so it's going to be down, 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 up, and this will be the one that sounds the most musical. Sounds like that. Here's 2 of them. Yeah, so there are actually a whole bunch of songs that use that. Like I said during the lesson, we're trying to make this really boring, and we're picking minor chords, not major chords, just because these are really similar shapes, and one that's just these 2 fingers, one that's these. The next thing we do will be more musical and more interesting for sure. So there you go. Just make sure all your positioning is good and work on all 3 of those rhythms. If you get through the whole thing successfully, that's cool, but we really want to go reiteration. I just play E minor and I work on the rhythms. I'm focused on what my right hand's doing. Now I work on the change. Just focused on my left hand. Then we get up to the first strum after the change. And pause. And then we're incorporating both at once. There we go. And come as you are, I'm going to send you on a separate video, but here's me playing it once. Cool. Or whatever. Here we are already doing it. So this is us on the, you can have your thumb down lower like where mine is. These are the 2 thumb positions. There's thumb over top, and then there's classical. And this can be done in either, but you might find it easier in this position where you're more out in front of the fretboard. And like we, so I'm going, this is all 6 string. Not, cool, so that's us. we're always bending at our first knuckle, so we're just touching one string rather than muting the one under. So once we get to here, there's no left hand component to the next part. And that's up, down, up, down. And this song, every time we hit the 6th string, it's down. The few times that we hit the 5th string, it's up. Going down, 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 up, down, just chilling there. And this finger's still fretting. So please pause and just go a bunch of times until it gets somewhat comfortable and you can totally play slower and pause. Only start playing it in rhythm when you're ready. Cool. And then speaking to why we kept our first finger there, after going, we go. So it was like, so it is 2 of these in a row. And then we try to note on the 5th string when we're going to leave there. So starting at the 3rd part, we went. Making the whole thing. Looking at my right hand, this is the range of motion that I'm using. So yeah, it's kind of this natural down up thing. If I was just going back and forth between those 2 strings, I'd be going down, up, down, up, down, up. Great, so there you are. Rest. But yeah, maybe starting tempo would be like that. So allow yourself pauses, and then as soon as you mapped out what you're going to do, try to play it in rhythm. I'm going over the dance steps, I'm mapping what I'm doing, and then having done that, we just go for it. Now we're dancing. Those are our 2 different headspaces, and moving on prematurely is going to make it an uphill battle. So, and accordingly, we've made, a somewhat long video where I've emphasized order of operations more than I will in the future, where it'll just be implied that we're going to work through in little sections, that when we learn a new chord change, you're going to do it on its own, and then try to just get to the first strum of it, learn the transition. I'm zeroing in on each difficult part, not always starting at the beginning. When you're playing Come As You Are, you're going to want to always start at the beginning. But when you're memorizing it, if you already know how to go, and then you might as well just go, oh, let's do it again, and then and only then try to play the whole thing. So we'll get to the musical fun part really fast, but, there we've got 3 sections, 1, 2, and 3. Where we're learning it is just learn section 1 to death. Stop playing section 1, except that, we end up here. Play section 2, get that down, that won't take too long. Then and only then, play 1 and 2. Stop playing 1 and 2, just learn 3. And then and only then, 1, 2, 3, or that would be the most efficient way to do it. But having seen you do this in class, you're going to blow through it pretty fast, I think. So that'll more be mandatory when we're working on more difficult songs. But in the immediate, we're just trying to, have good habits and be as efficient as we can. So I will see you soon. Hit me back about the next lessons, and whether you practice or not, whether you practice and it is productive or, not productive, we can come in for the next lesson and see what's going on. I want to throw out the term starter pack or starter kit. Your company has a corporate discount with Guitar Center that's like 20% or something. So if you are thinking about picking up a guitar, you can get something that would last you a couple of years for $100 or something, as well as a tuner and a bunch of picks and a case and so forth. And then for what it's worth, if you didn't stick with it, they keep good resale value as long as they're in good condition. All right, there's lesson 1. I will see you soon, and I'm looking forward to working with you.